What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the day. It's finally the day where we are gonna fix this FRS. I was planning on putting this off for a while and working on the Evos, but just having this in the back of my mind, knowing that I have the FRS to fix, the STI now to fix, the new STI I just bought, and the Evo 8 needs a ton of work still. This being that it's only a clutch issue and that's it, I figured I'm gonna get this thing out of the way. It's like one less stress on my mind. I know everyone wants to see Evo content and STI content right now, but this thing's like stressing me out. Just knowing I have 3 projects that I need fixed is just stressing me the fuck out. So what we're going to be doing today is removing the transmission out of my Scion FRS. I've never done it before, but like a lot of things on this channel and how I teach myself is I literally just dive right into it. I've never removed a transmission out of an FRS specifically. I've done it on Subarus, I've done it on Evos, I've done it on a lot of cars, so I kind of know the basics. I'm hoping I don't have to drain the transmission oil. I haven't really told you in this video yet. My clutch throwout bearing is completely shot on this car. Funny story, actually, 2 days ago after I got these new LED boomerangs in, I went and drove like half a mile down the road. The throwout bearing completely went out. I'll throw a little clip on the screen right now of some GoPro footage of me trying to get this thing home. Absolutely hilarious. Oh boy, we got it. That was insane. So yeah, as you can see, that throwout bearing is completely shot. On a WRX or STI or any all-wheel drive car, I'd probably pull the motor. On this car being rear-wheel drive, I don't have to deal with front axles. I chose to pull the transmission. Should be a lot more simple. First thing I'm gonna do, get the car way up in the air all the way up, and then throw it on jack stands, literally get it as high up off the ground as I can. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to go on the inside of the car, remove the shifter, remove all the trim around the shifter, and there'll be some shifter linkage as well we are gonna have to take off. This is gonna be a pretty long video, guys. If you want to remove your transmission out of your FRS or BRZ, this is gonna be a guide to do that, and I'm gonna try to make it obviously entertaining as well. And then at the end, we can see what exactly is going on with my clutch. 99% of me wants to say it's the throwout bearing. Let's jump into the teardown. Got the car jacked way up in the air, pretty damn high. Before I get all dirty and disgusting crawling on the ground, I am going to work on the inside. So let's crawl in here, see exactly what we need to pull off. Pull the shift knob off, unscrews. From there, I'm gonna remove this e-brake boot, so it should just pop right off here. Next up, let's pull off this shifter trim. We may honestly have to remove this whole center console piece, which is not hard at all. So take that thing, pull it out. There's a little rubber mat down here. Peel that up and out of the way. That will expose 2 bolts there. There's 2 screws right there. You do have to remove this little tray from right there, and as soon as you get that out, there will be 2 screws underneath that you have to remove, and then this whole center console will slide on out. Now there's just these 2 little plastic screws we're gonna remove, and we should have access to everything we need. Now we got 4 12mm bolts we're gonna pull out. That's gonna remove the little shifter plate. Looks like there's a little wiring clip right there we should pull out. Well, I didn't get it on camera, but that boot just came right off there. It's a little tight squeeze getting over that reverse lockout, but I think that right there, we should be able to drop the transmission on out of there. I think everything else is gonna come with the tranny. Crawling underneath this thing, there's a big old skid plate right here we're gonna have to take off. There's an aluminum one up there. It looks like there's just a bunch of 10 and 12mm bolts. Go ahead and rip all those off, and that should give us access to see what all we need to remove to drop this tranny on out of here. I think we're gonna have to pull this exhaust system off as well, which is not a big deal, or at least like the catalytic converter. So I ended up just pulling off that one skid plate. The other one you don't need to remove. Once you get that off, this is what it will look like. Transmission is exposed. I'm gonna pull the exhaust off from up here. There's 2 14mm nuts, and then there'll be a bolt right there. I'll probably pull the whole rest of the system off just to make it nice and simple. But honestly, guys, like, this transmission looks really easy to remove. I'm guessing about another hour, 2 hours, we should have it out, and I've only been working on it for about a half hour. Let's go ahead and get this exhaust ripped off right now. Next up, we are going to remove this drive line. This is the part where I'm hoping it's not going to drain the tranny oil out of the back of the tranny. But I'm just going to disconnect it from this rear diff right here. Now if you come up under here, there is 2 bolts right here on this carrier bearing, both 14 millimeters. Pull those off and then this drive line should come out. Hopefully it won't leak oil from where it goes into the transmission. So as you guys saw, it did leak a bit of oil. What I'm gonna do is leave the driveline on there. I should be able to remove the transmission with the driveline still on. Next up, we have 2 bolts right up in there. One over there, both 12 millimeters for the shifter. And then after that, we're gonna disconnect the bell housing from the motor. So it looks like there's a bolt way up there, one right there, and then maybe 4 or 5 on the other side as well. I'm gonna pull those out. They're all 14 millimeters. The ones I can get to with an impact, I will impact off. The other ones I'll use a wrench or a ratchet. So a few more things on top we will have to remove. There's 2 wiring plugins right there. There's a ground wire, and then clutch slave cylinder has 2 14 millimeter bolts holding it on. And I don't know if you guys saw, the starter is much easier to remove from the top. There is a bolt on the top you remove, and then there's one on the bottom you get to from the bottom side that you pull out, and then that starter will come out. But yeah, let's pull this wiring off, the ground off, and that slave cylinder off. And then I think all we have left is that little cross member mount down there. As soon as I pull those 4 bolts off, holding that cross member on, the tranny should come on out of there, provided we don't have any binding issues anywhere. Not too bad at all. I do have a jack up under here because I am pulling this tranny myself. I'm not exactly sure how heavy it is. Probably pretty heavy, still full of oil, and I still have the driveline on, so I think it's gonna be kind of heavy. Hopefully I can get it down and out of here by myself. Wow, safe to say this throw-up bearing is definitely the cause to all my issues. That is insane. I've never seen something that bad in my life. Here is another little piece of that throw-out bearing, completely toasted. Now that I know that was the issue, a new one has been ordered. I am also going to pull out the rest of the clutch and make sure the rest of the clutch is fine. I did order a throw-out bearing. It should be here later today or maybe tomorrow morning. But I want to make sure the rest of the clutch is fine. I know this is not an original clutch on this car. It had been replaced before and it felt perfectly fine, honestly, so I didn't end up ordering a whole clutch kit. But I'm going to pull it out right now, see how much life is left in it. If it's getting down there, I will replace it while I have the transmission out. So here's the clutch out of the car. Honestly, it looks like it's in very good condition. There's no weird warping, no heat coloring on that pressure plate. There's a ton of life left on this disc, on the clutch disc itself, or the friction plate, whatever you want to call it. That thing, it literally looks almost brand new. And then on the flywheel as well, there was no weird heat discoloration or warping or anything of the sort. So I am definitely going to be running this clutch still. I'm just going to be replacing the throw out bearing, and that should be it. We should be back on the road hopefully tomorrow in this thing. All right, my fam, that is going to be it for this video. I have not got my new throw out bearing in the mail yet, so I'm going to go ahead, wrap today's video up right here. Really hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully, if you guys are replacing a clutch or have to pull your tranny out of your FRS or BRZ for any reason whatsoever, this video, this guide, this tutorial will help you out. If you have any questions at all, drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning when we get that new throw out bearing in the mail. See you guys then.